People like you, organizations like RampCheck, I love you guys.
4, 5, 6, 7 feet down, ready now. You are clear for takeoff, runway 21 left, winds are calm. Stand by for the retrans on uniform. It's showtime.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the RampCheck Podcast. I'm Tony.
I'm Aaron.
Oh, I saluted too soon, and I'm Ryan.
Welcome back to another podcast, brothers.
That's
Hey,
right. Our
you guys,
second live stream.
Here
I was gonna say 2 weeks in a row. That's awesome, and
right?
more to come every week, and a little in between when we can.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Right at 7 p.m. We are live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We're working on a couple of other platforms. And of course, if you're an audio listener, you can still listen to the podcast. I'm not sure why I'm telling you that if you're an audio listener, because you're probably not hearing this right now. But still, you can listen to the podcast.
You will hear it after the
Right?
fact.
Yes, you can listen to the podcast in your car, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Google. There's so many. They're everywhere. Oh, Audible. We're on Audible as well. So
Yeah, pretty much all of them.
Yeah, and
oh, go ahead.
and no, it's okay. And then I thought we should mention too, like, we're planning. Obviously, we're going to be doing this every Wednesday, 7 p.m. going live. But if anything, if we're at an event like Red Flag, or if some event happens, we'll be doing some stuff in between as well. But the schedule is every Wednesday at 7. And we'll get to the story here in a little bit. But like, say something happened like today when basically the FAA system went down. If it's another day other than Wednesday, just keep an eye on all our social media outlets, because we might come on and just do a quick live stream and talk about something that happens.
We might even jump on and do a mic check too, out of nowhere.
No, I had audio. This is just for the record. I had audio issues last week. Your audio sounded great. Ryan, your audio sounded great. My audio sounded like shit.
So the DJ who grew up, or not grew up, but worked in radio, had the worst sound.
Exactly. So I think I fixed it. I hope I fixed it.
It's okay. It's your little Star Wars trainer ball, Mike.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. In fact, let's do a little mic check right now. Send us a comment on if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, or Twitter.
Twitter comments aren't coming up live though. We still haven't worked that bug out. I don't know why. All
right. So, we want to get to a ton of subscribers on YouTube anyway. So if you're watching us on one of those other platforms, jump on over to YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, of course, share this with all your friends, and hit that notification bell, because you'll, we've been putting up, Aaron, you've put up a bunch of YouTube shorts recently.
Yeah. I've been trying to, we've been getting a lot of reach that way. And just so you know, we've gone up almost 20 subscribers since last week on YouTube.
All right.
So, a little bit at a time. That's what we love, and as long as we get that connection, that's what we're looking for. So.
Absolutely, we want to spread the word. But if you're watching right now on YouTube or Facebook, send us a comment in the chat. You can do that right now, and just let me know: does Tony's audio sound like shit or not?
It sounds pretty good on my end. So I think
same.
good, brother.
I made a few tweaks, downloaded some software. I'll be getting a new microphone here soon. It's on its way.
We're not going to have the ball anymore.
Not going to have to deal with the snowball anymore. That's so 2020.
We'll have to retire it to the ceiling and glue a bunch of mirrors on it. Our little ball.
Exactly. You could put some streamers on it, Oops, I just hit my monitor.
Don't come crash us down.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I won't. And looks like we do have a chat. Preppy. Oh, look, it's Little Hess.
Nice.
Sounds good on his end. So, hey, thanks a lot. And also, we've got Matt Thiemann listening. Matt, welcome to the show today. Thanks for checking in. You said it sounds good. Keep having fun. Well, we're hoping
you sure?
Too.
Are you sure it's not Matt the man?
Could be Matt the man.
It's not Matt Thiemann?
Well, I mean, it could be, but it also could be Matt the man. If that's his last name, that's a pretty cool last name.
All right. For the record, this is like our second live podcast. I'm still a little nervous.
Well, hey, here's the thing. There's going to be many names I'm going to butcher. So
right.
It's okay if it's the man, but the man.
Right.
Well, whether it's Thiemann or the man, we're happy to have you.
and I'll be butchering a name a little bit later. The name sounds like Buttigieg. But anyway,
he says Matt the man says it's not my last name. So it is the man.
Come on. Thiemann would be a cool last name, right?
Well, hey.
So would the man. What's your last name, sir? The man.
Oh, dear Lord.
That's awesome.
Anyway, okay. Back to Av Geekery.
Yes. So once again, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. You see some cool stuff. So we're going to share a few pictures. I uploaded a few of my own that we can go through today. But we had some breaking news today. What?
Oh, sorry. The photo thing. I don't know if we were briefed on that before, so I don't know where you're going with that. Just FYI, because I'm not really sure.
Stuff this week, you know what? I'm gonna minimize you guys just so I can just put you guys in the shame box for a second.
No.
We have the same controls, right?
I do. Yes, I do.
We could go like this. See ya, brother.
Just
kidding. Just kidding. Anyway.
No, we had discussed that we were going to share some of our memory. You're going to show some of your memorabilia, Aaron. Let me point to you over there, if I can point. There you are. It's so confusing because it's mirrored.
Are we doing that again?
Oh, God.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey,
Tony.
brother.
Yeah, the audio version, they have no idea what we're doing.
They're like, don't.
Idiots.
Hey, that's us. Who cares, man? This is fun. We're on a live stream. We're doing a podcast and we're talking about freaking airplanes.
Yes, exactly.
Or as my line supervisor who trained me years and years ago, he didn't like me to say airplane. I had to say aircraft. So, yeah.
And I know who that is, and I won't say his name, but initials are Steve Harding.
That's right. Yep, basically you're correct.
I just remember that dude, like, he would bring his parachutes out to work and fold them on the lawn.
Oh yeah, dude.
When we were
he was on the clock.
He was quite the airport.
He's the Dos Equis guy of line work.
Of Av Geeker.
Like, he's the most interesting man in the world that's worked the line for ever.
That's hilarious.
Good dude.
That's hilarious. So last week on the podcast, we teased that this week we were going to show some of our aviation memorabilia. And, share some stuff. I don't have a ton of memorabilia here. I could bring in my little SkyWest 2002 Olympic edition CRJ 200. I could show and tell that. But I've got some cool pictures that I want to show just from my
and we can just kind of have it almost like a little segment on the show each week, because I've got a lot of cool stuff Ryan does. I know you do, but in a future episode. We also plan on going through kind of each one of our history in aviation, and share some of our experiences and our professional experience. And I know we did that in the audio version a few years ago, but we thought it would be fun to kind of revisit that idea, except this time we can do video, show photos as we're telling the stories. So that will be fun, I think. I think that'd be cool. Because, you know, if we get a new visitor to the live stream, or somebody that just started following us, then they can kind of get, you know, our backgrounds, and that we're not just full of shit, you know, just making stuff up as we go. Well, this whole podcast, we're just kind of, you know, not quite making it up as we go, but you know what I mean. We're kind of new to this, especially the live stream. Yeah.
Yes.
But,
and you can
but anyway,
so
okay, cool. So that's what I was questioning you, Tony, about before. I was just making sure we weren't going into that part of what we had talked about, because I'm like, oh shit, I am not prepared at all.
Oh, great.
For that. But we got some cool, we got some cool, you know, memorabilia and collectibles that we'll kind of talk about. That'd be fun.
Definitely. Yep, we'll talk about that for sure. Should we just start with the breaking news? I mean, I guess you call it breaking news if you only do the podcast once a week at 7 p.m.
Well, but this just happened to be breaking news today, so
right, exactly. It's just crazy. So, if you guys didn't hear, there was a meltdown today in the United States with the National Airspace System, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
And just the system outage just led to like thousands of cancellations and delays. I want to put up the, let's see here. Where is it?
Yeah, well, the whole system went down, didn't it?
Yeah.
They grounded everything from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and haven't seen anything like that pretty much since, 2001? It's probably the last time that happened.
Yep. Yeah. And we're going to talk about that too. So this is what came across the ATC SCC advisory page this morning. The 11th, you look at the event time, the 11 stands for, of course, the 11th. Oh, guys, guess what?
It's wow. It's 111. Yeah. Interesting.
1300 Zulu and effective until later. Nationwide ground stop initiated due to U.S. NOTAM system outage. Stakeholders can expect further communications as the system restoration process is completed. Planned references for Houston and Minneapolis removed from the plan as conditions are improving and volume demands have been delayed due to the outage. So that's what came across this morning. Now, some people are probably wondering what is a NOTAM, and we'll get to that in just a second. Oh my God! Right. Anyway,
this world is something else these days.
It's I can't even believe it. So if you're an old airline guy or an aviation guy like myself, you'll know what a NOTAM used to mean, and we're gonna kind of go over what that means now here in just a minute. But I just wanted to airlines hope for a return to normal Thursday. That's tomorrow, after the FAA outage snarls U.S. travel. I just love these colorful things. But there's Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. But okay,
it's not even worth saying his name. Let's just say the RampCheck Podcast is not a fan of his.
Told CNN the ground stop was the right call to make sure measures were getting sent correctly and that there was no direct evidence of a cyber attack. The White House said President Joe Biden still has confidence in Buttigieg. How do you say his last name anyway?
Buttigieg. Buttigieg. That would have been a good one. See, back in the day when David Letterman was really funny, he would have had a hell of a time with that last name.
Yeah, right.
You remember watching his show in the 90s with Newt Gingrich, you know, Speaker of the House. Oh my God, he had one hell of a time with that name on his show. It was really funny. But anyway,
I
continue, brother.
Okay. Anyway, so Joseph Biden, however you say his name, he said, of course, that he had confidence in Buttigieg, and anyway, so the cause of the system, and I'm going to go back to that confidence part. Sorry, I got a little bit lost there.
Zoom in just one on your browser, brother.
One more?
Okay. Just one more.
All right, because I thought I zoomed in enough. There we
go.
That's
okay. There you go. That's better.
Okay, and this is I'm on the Daily Mail right now, so like the Daily Mail is pop-up hell. So kind of bear with me, but so revealed today that a corrupt file and system reboot caused all the U.S. flights to be grounded for the first time, like you mentioned, Ryan, since 9/11. The NOTAM system and backup were both infected with corrupt file as pilots slammed the ridiculous decision to ground the planes. And they're so if you can't get a NOTAM through the ATC website, there are other ways to get them. You can call the individual airports. You can listen to the ATIS or the some of the ASOS or AWOS systems will have pertinent NOTAMs, but so people are wondering why there was actually a ground stop issued because of this. He said that he, let's see, where was it here? He's such an idiot. Anyway,
poor Southwest.
Right?
I know. They probably just got their shit together and then this happened.
I know. They're just like, just turn the keys into all the aircraft back to Boeing and start over.
Exactly. Hey, so really quick, what is NOTAM or NOTAM an acronym for? I actually don't know.
Tony's getting there.
Okay.
I'm there and I'm getting fired up. But anyway.
Well, I missed something because you guys laughed about it, and I'm like, I didn't quite understand. So anyway, continue. We'll get there.
I didn't know that there was a new definition until today, but we're
building the suspense here.
Okay. Well, it's working.
Right? So a lot of pilots were really critical over what was going on and what happened today. And I found this kind of interesting. Former Congressman Adam Kitzinger.
Why are they even quoting him?
God, no shit.
Right. Exactly.
Go away.
I just think that's lieutenant colonel in the air. Like, come on.
Right.
Like,
so what I want to say is former Congressman Adam Kitzinger, in a desperate attempt to stay relevant, tweeted that there was absolutely no safety concern. It's no big deal at all. It's absolutely no safety concern. None. It's nice when it's there.
That's awesome. Okay.
But there are so many other ways to get NOTAMs, he said. Fueling questions over why flights were grounded. So
okay, so absolutely no safety concern. But let's close down everything.
Yeah. Let's shut the country down.
So
in the air.
This morning, my father and mother-in-law flew in from Florida, and they were on a flight. Delta, they had actually boarded the aircraft, taxied out of the gate when this happened. They had to turn around and offload the aircraft. They had to go sit in the terminal for 2 hours with millions, well, not millions, but the thousands and thousands of people that were at Tampa trying to get out because of this. So unbelievable.
Right.
But
so
no safety concern. Nothing to see here, folks.
I know.
Yeah, nothing to see here. I'm thinking that the nationwide ground stop, and that included flights inbound, outbound. I don't know that it was necessary because there were other ways to get the NOTAMs. I think that, it could have caused some delays because they had to go to other means. And there are ways you can go on the internet and get a NOTAM. You can just pull it up. However, it has to be an approved source from the FAA,
right?
Because of security and different things like that. Sorry, my phone was on. I didn't realize it.
You're a popular fella tonight,
right?
Hey, but your phone does have a feature to turn that sound off.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay,
thanks. Here, Ryan. Ryan, will you will you turn that off for me? Here.
Oh, yeah, let me grab it here.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, will you figure that out?
Okay,
Oh
you ready? Here you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wrong side. Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait. Hold it up again. Oh, is it kind of hanging there? Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
I got it.
And there go the viewers.
Whatever. They're going to tell their friends. There come more viewers.
Thanks for hanging in there with us, people.
Continue.
But anyway, there are other ways to get them that are approved by the FAA, unless they change that shit as well. You never know with what's happened in the last 2.5 years. But we're gonna get to the NOTAM definition thing. But I just wanted to go to this page here. Just a second. I need to share it. Sorry, I forgot I was going to share it. But anyway, as you mentioned, and as it mentioned in that article, the last time that happened was September 11th, 2001, when there was a nationwide ground stop issued. And so I wanted to look up and find some of the old advisories. And this is kind of a slideshow of the progression of how things happened on 9/11. So here was the first advisory. Destination airport all. This is a ground. Oh, this is just for New York Center. Okay. ZNY, you see the ATC SCC advisory. Yeah. ZNY, New York Center. So it was just for New York Center. All flights arriving or transiting New York Center. Probability of extension high. Then they were going to have a planning telecom, but they don't know what the hell's going on. So they canceled it, or they postponed it. Then you had this happen. All facilities included, all plus CZY-AP. That CZY includes basically all of Canada as well. And then the reason, other security. And then another extension.
Yeah, I would say it was a security reason.
Yeah. So.
And I was working so I wasn't at work when actually the 9/11 all happened, but I went into work once everything was happening. And I remember the facts coming through about the ground stop, and any aircraft will be met with armed challenge and all that shit. And it just still gives me chills to this day.
Oh yeah.
How crazy.
Well, and then it updates, and it escalates a little bit more. Now we've got another advisory, facilities included all. And this is just a ground stop. So there's a difference between a ground stop. I mean, so basically what a ground stop is if there's aircraft in the air, they can continue to their destination.
Right.
As long as it's legal to land, of course, and you can, otherwise you might go to an alternate airport. So basically the ground stop means that no more traffic is going to take off because they need to get rid of the congestion that's in the air. Then here's ground stop, all departures, destination airport, all facilities included, all due to national emergency, ground stop, all departures, regardless of destination, repeat ground stop, all departures. This gives me chills just reading this, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
And then, it just keeps going on and on. They activate the user hotline.
Yeah.
There's a planning telecom that's been canceled. And then this is crazy. Due to extraordinary circumstances and for reasons of safety, attention, all aircraft operators by order of the Federal Aviation Command Center, all airports are authorized for landing and takeoff. All traffic, including airborne aircraft, are encouraged to land short, including all helicopter traffic. Aircraft involved in firefighting in the Northwest U.S. are excluded. Please read this notice over the emergency frequencies and VOR voice. So
So I just have to point something out.
I just want to go over that again, just because
that if I read that wrong, correct me, but that's government for you. Oh, go back to that, brother. Let's pull that back up.
Oh, okay.
It says,
back on.
Yeah, it says, all airports, aerodromes are not authorized for landing and takeoffs. And then it goes, all traffic, including airborne air traffic, are encouraged to land shortly. Didn't that just say you're not authorized to land? But then it says to everybody, you need to land shortly. I mean, there's your fucking federal government for you.
Right.
Sorry.
Exactly.
It just fires me
Exactly.
up.
No, it was a time of a little bit of confusion.
Did I read that wrong?
No, for land so basically what it's saying is all airports are closed, period.
Yeah.
No ground stops, no nothing, they're closed. Put the planes back on the gates, get the people off the aircraft. The airports are closed. Send them home.
So they separated the two. They separated airports and aircraft. I got it. Anyway,
yeah,
but it shouldn't be that confusing.
It makes you look twice for sure.
Yeah. But anyway,
right. And then of course, they're encouraged to land shortly. Basically, what it ended up being, and maybe there's another advisory here that goes. Let's see. ATC advised all requests for medical emergency, military, law enforcement, or other absolutely essential flight clearances. Okay, so that's just basically emergency aircraft only.
Right.
This is how to, I guess, file a flight plan for that. All military. So anyway, and then, oh shit, I forgot my train of thought. Are you kidding me?
Well, here, I'll pipe in.
Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was just going to say the odd thing about this morning is we're talking about the last time this happened and everything. Mm-hmm. I live, and you guys know this, I live right in the pattern for Salt Lake International in the approach and landing pattern. And I can just hear jets all day long because, obviously being av geeks, I love that. And this morning it was just weird because to just get a few messages on my phone that early, and it kind of got me out of sleep, and then I'm thinking like, oh, that's kind of eerie, but then I open my window and I'm just like, I don't hear any aircraft at all, and
so weird.
It's just really weird when you're used to hearing it, especially working on a ramp for so long. It's just really weird to not hear that again. So this was kind of a big deal. So when they're like, oh, no safety risk was posed, or we still have faith in this and this. I mean, we're talking about an industry that when you don't turn an aircraft fast enough, they lose thousands of dollars. Just imagine the hit today on the aviation industry as far as money goes.
That one flight that I mentioned with my father-in-law on board.
Yeah.
I mean, they started the engines, they burned fuel, they had to taxi back, they have to turn the engines off. That's another cycle on the engines. I mean, it's crazy. So I mean, I guess what, Tony, you're going for, and the reason why you showed so much at 9/11 is because you were going down the road of comparing it to today and how it's unprecedented. So,
well, yeah, I mean,
am I getting at that there was something more going on than what was being put out there? Is that where you're going with this?
Well, I just wanted to compare the two because it takes a lot to have the balls to basically issue a nationwide ground stop because of what Ryan just said, of all the airlines that are losing all this money, all the delays.
Yeah.
Passengers don't understand what a ground stop is. They don't understand what a NOTAM is, or a NOTAM, I don't understand it, actually. Should we cover that really quick?
Yes.
Okay. So no, I can't even say it with a straight face.
Okay.
Hold on. I need to pull up that. I need to share that window here to show you. But basically, the definition of a NOTAM, notices to airmen. Okay.
Which it still is.
Okay.
Right. It is. So notices to airmen, and what that does is that basically it covers airport issues. It covers airspace. There are local NOTAMs. There are, what's the other term? Distant NOTAMs. It's been a while since I've been a dispatcher, but so NOTAMs will cover things like runway closures, taxiway closures, airspace closures.
If there's construction going on at the airport.
Right.
So
things
an important notice to pilots, basically.
You know, the radio towers where they have the lights that blink on and off slowly.
Yeah.
You know, if one of those lights is out, if there's a crane next to the airport, you know, there's a
construction.
A whole slew of things that are covered by NOTAMs. Well, so our good friend Pete Buttigieg, the woke, I mean, he's openly gay. I'm just going to say that, and that has nothing to do with it. However, he is the first openly gay Secretary of Transportation. Get it?
Oh
boy.
Transportation. Anyway,
yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't do it. But
he's gay,
when I
though,
say
not
woke,
trans, but that
anyway, but I'm just saying.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I know, but come on, that was funny, right? I thought that was pretty funny. So to be more inclusive, he oversaw the rebranding of the NOTAM system to make it more inclusive by calling it Notices to Air Missions instead of Notices to Airmen. Are you fucking kidding me?
Nah, dude, I can't even with this stuff anymore. Like,
inclusive enough? I mean, I know we have to tread lightly. Sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
No, I'm just like, and I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it at all, because we do. We need to talk about everything, because that's just like who we are. But I'm just, my opinion is I'm just like, it's just getting old, even for anyone, not just us here on this podcast, to refer to this bullshit anymore. It's like, okay, we switched it to air missions. Now people who identify as whatever and women can all be included. Great, cool. You know, I'm sure there weren't a whole lot of people losing sleep over the fact that it was airmen and not air mission. But, you know, hey, that's just me. And maybe people are just calling me a closed-minded idiot, but I don't really care, because I just don't see how that can really bother anybody. Whatever.
And when I heard about what happened, I actually had my theory of what went on today. And I'm guessing this is, and this kind of fits with this story, but I'm kind of guessing that what happened is the equity, inclusion, and diversity training that they were having at the ATC Center. It was happening for the NOTAM team, and maybe it ran a bit long today.
That's, you know, well, not only that, this goes along the lines of, and I don't remember who it was in Congress. Somebody was giving a prayer, and he said, "Amen" and "a woman" for the closing of his prayer.
It was that.
Now
I'm so
that
glad.
is the most ridiculous virtue signaling bullshit I think I've ever heard.
And that's exactly what this is. So
exactly.
You're changing an acronym that has been around since basically the birth of aviation, which has
I'm calling. Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. Finish.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know a cockpit is also a flight deck, but maybe we should do a Veggie Pit too, because I'm offended.
Dude,
I'm offended.
I mean,
it's cockpit.
You look at what happened today, and you look at, you know, even though it maybe isn't this individual's fault with Southwest, but you know, you've heard things about like the railway people striking.
Yeah.
You've got all these issues, and then we have a headline that it's like, he oversaw a rebranding of the term. It's like, you're just like,
it's just
all right. Like, good job. Now, how about you focus on the real shit that's a problem?
Exactly. No, that's exactly it.
let's not worry about making a 5-letter acronym more inclusive. Then how about we just fix the fucking system in the first place?
Yeah.
We have an outdated system,
right.
for commercial aviation. I mean, there's definitely bigger fish to fry than these stupid bullshit inclusive things.
Yeah.
And to be straight, and we actually have had a couple podcasts on this but beforehand, not on the NOTAM thing, but like
right.
We don't like, we're not against gay people. We are not against
like
any of that. Like it's just the virtue signaling by the people that are running this country and the people who are supposed to be of influence and
oh my god
are just off the rails.
Yeah, that's not how you do it. Like
no.
And when I say there's more important issues, I'm not just talking about his job as the transportation guy. I'm talking about there are probably bigger issues if you're in that community rather than changing acronyms and aviation terms. You know what I mean? Like, focus on things that, in my opinion, matter a little more than that. But
it says right
I am
here,
who I am. It just is what it is. I can't stand it.
Well, and it says right here that the NOTAM system was undergoing a 2-phase modernization when it crashed. So was phase 1 the more inclusive portion of it, and then maybe phase 2 was the technical upgrade?
Yeah, maybe the AI in the system was like, this is bullshit, I'm shutting this down.
That's what caused it.
Exactly.
It had a malfunction because it didn't know what to read.
Exactly. They're like, this code is absolute just stupid. So
I'm sorry, but this woke ridiculousness. I mean, it's just like reading.
It just shows it goes into everything in aviation too.
It's just ridiculous, man. I don't know. So I wanted to show Preppy 235 is, little Hess. Priorities don't seem to be solving problems like they should be. It's a shame it's that way.
Absolutely. Hey, it's well said.
Totally agree.
And go back to
A1.
Go back to what?
I didn't hear what Tony said. What'd you say?
Oh, I said I said amen, or I mean a woman.
A woman. Yeah. Make sure you include everybody. So anyway, moving on from that, because I don't like to give virtue signaling any more attention than it needs. But so what you were saying, Aaron, earlier you made
the Veggie Pit or the
no. I know you've got it on your mind, but
can we move on from that, please?
Cockpit.
Well, they do have.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, when you were saying like what you were trying to get at, what Tony was saying, and you're saying you think there's more to it. I can't help but think, just since 2020 and lots of things going on, I can't help but to think that, I mean, do you think maybe this could have been like an attack on our infrastructure? Like,
of course. But you know what?
It's just not told.
Well, hey, brother, look at what's happened over the last 2 to 3 years across the globe.
Yeah.
Anything's possible because, if you can think it, I mean, look at all the conspiracy theories that have come true over the last few years.
Well, hey, the difference between conspiracy and truth, right? You guys know that?
Yeah, the amount of time or something?
About 6 months. Yeah,
there you go.
Yep.
And I think that's about half now.
I mean, I can't help but think that because, you look at technology and how updated it is, and technology is it just gets better every year, and it's just far superior. Yeah, can you stop screwing with that while I'm talking? All of a sudden it was like, hello.
We're just working bugs out.
Trying to highlight the speaker.
It's hard to not think that, they're not going to tell us if that happened. They don't want to throw anyone into a panic. And it's just hard to think that an entire system went down. And then what makes me question it is then you have officials within the government being like, no big deal. it wasn't, it wasn't. So that even more makes me think, okay, like what the hell's going on? Like they can just ground everything like that, with technology now. Like, so it's a little scary. It was kind of a scary thing that happened today. I mean, I wasn't freaking out, but I'm like, damn, that's a big deal. That took a hit on the industry for sure.
Like I was saying, you look at what's happened over the past several years and the lies and the bullshit that the whole world has, basically our leaders got everything wrong. Right. And then they just expect us to just blindly believe them and to follow what they say. And it's so frustrating. It's just trash, man.
Yeah, it is.
Well, think about like kind of what you said, Ryan, that maybe this could have been some kind of a cyber attack, an attack on the infrastructure. Infrastructure includes a lot of things, which obviously is aircraft. But you think about it, one surefire way to stop people from traveling altogether, you shut down the airspace. Planes can't go.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like you said though, about thinking saying that it's not a cyber attack, it's more realistic to believe that it was some kind of a glitch because of an upgrade. So think about 20 years ago, if something, 20 years ago, if something like this had happened. I'm not talking about 9/11. I mean, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's a different.
But if something like this had happened like 20 years ago and they use the excuse, well, it's because NOTAMS was rebranded from Notice to Airmen to Notice to Missions to be more inclusive, you would have scratched your head and gone, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, those
but then let me finish. So then you fast forward to today and you hear that excuse, you're like, oh yeah, I guess so.
Well, and in all honesty, and I'm being dead serious here, with who's running the show right now in the United States of America, I could very easily see them doing something like this just to roll out that they renamed what NOTAM is.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Let's get everybody's attention so that we can roll this new NOTAM definition out.
Yep.
I could 100% see it because they think it's funny.
Yeah, I didn't know
it's funny. They don't give a shit.
I didn't know it had changed until today. And so how many other people know now? I mean, It's crazy. Do us a favor, comment. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, you can send us a comment right now. We'll read it on the air. If you like or even don't like what you're watching or what you're hearing right now, give us a like on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and click that little notification bell. I think that's where it would be, maybe over here.
But who knows? It's different on different devices, on computers, laptops.
Just hit the fucking bell, okay?
Sorry.
Used French. So, but anyway, and one more thing I wanted to share with you guys. So if you don't want to sit in the airplane, there is a resource that you can go to. And when I mean don't want to sit on the airplane, if you don't want to sit on the airplane and just wait, if you know something's going to happen, if you want to know the status of what's going on, this is actually a publicly accessible website. This is the National Airspace System status. And I actually have that right here. I love these little graphics, this lower third thing. It's kind of cool. But if you want to check for delays before you go, you can go on this page, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Denver, they're experiencing delays because of de-icing. San Francisco, their daily ground delay program because of wind. We'll cover San Francisco a little bit more on another podcast. And if you're wondering why it's always... I was hiding us there. I didn't mean to. But why you always get delayed going in and out of San Francisco, we can talk about that. And then Salt Lake City delays for de-icing too. So you can go to that website. Once again, it's nasstatus.faa.gov. It's a public website. pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to navigate as well. So
Cool.
Anyway, anything else on the airspace meltdown today?
No, let's just keep hoping the industry just can catch a break.
Any predictions on what terms might be changed next?
I've already thrown my candidate out.
I'm pretty sure the term wingman will change over the course of some time. It's not going to be wingman anymore.
Oh my God, the Veggie Pit, dude.
All right. Just rename it the Crotch Pit, and then it's covered for everybody.
Right. Just call it the flight deck. But deck sounds too much like. Never mind.
Depends on what part of the world you're from, what your accent is. But
oh Lord.
Anyway, no, I think that's good. I have something that a new topic that I just wanted to throw in here at the last second, just because I thought it was kind of pertinent information, kind of along the lines of what we're talking about.
Do it.
Go for it.
So today, well, I don't know exactly which day it was, but this was released that the Department of Defense drops the COVID-19, I should say COOF okay.
I think
so
you can
we're on
say
YouTube.
On Facebook
I think you can say that shit now, right?
Yeah.
Because I think
you
all
just
that
can't
is
say
bullshit.
bad shit about it.
I think we're in a free country again.
Okay. All right. So anyway,
Thanks, Elon.
the poke mandate is over. The change is part of the NDAA. Service members who refuse pokes will no longer be separated solely because of the refusal if they sought an accommodation. So,
oh, wow.
I like
almost
it.
Like it never should have been there in the first place.
Yeah,
right.
I know. And the funny thing is, you read some of these comments about time, but damage is done. What is the policy for training and travel? Can unpoked soldiers attend training? What's the policy for ATRRS schools? How about deploy? I mean, it's so true. Like, this person has a completely legitimate, line of questioning because of just the circus show that we've been living in.
I read in another article that according to the DoD, it's still up to the local commanders if service members who are unvaccinated can be
chosen. Chosen for missions and stuff. I read that too, but let's just hope.
Well,
the commanders are smarter.
We know people in the military that got the poke and the jab, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. We wish them well.
Yeah, definitely.
And we also know people who didn't, and we wish them well too. And we just hope that this freaking circus show that we've gone through it just needs to go away.
Yep.
And we need to move on from here. And I mean, it's so funny though, how those that are pushing the inclusivity of everybody, they totally condemn people that didn't want to get the jab.
Wait, they don't want to include those people?
It's unbelievable. And so it just shows the hypocrisy.
Right.
Well, and it's just nice to see this going in the right direction.
Right.
Because there never should have been a mandate on it anyway.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So hopefully if they stop the mandate, the people that refused it, hopefully they're just treated like anybody else. They're not othered, like I said about when it comes to deployment. And one thing I did not read though, that was in there. Let me put this back up here.
I'm surprised they still use mandate, man. That's offensive.
Yeah, it sure is. It should be woman date.
It should be person date.
Oh, person date. Yep, exactly. I get it. But in the NDAA, has there been any mention about the service members that were involuntarily separated?
I don't know. I don't know about that. We'd have to do a little bit more research on that. I'm not sure.
The bottom line is last week we had a story like this. Who was it that dropped it last week? Now I can't even remember. The point is each week getting news like this, I mean, it's just music to my ears. Just keep it going, and hopefully enough people learn from this that we'll just never let anything like it happen again. But
well, and not to pat ourselves on the back, but we kind of called all this, man.
Yeah, a lot of people have.
When all this was going down, we haven't changed our thoughts on any of this.
Nope.
Right.
It should have always been your choice. It should have been, you do your own research and you talk to your own doctor and you decide for yourself.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let's be clear, we've
always
never
should have been that way.
We've never what's the word? I guess judged anyone for what their decision was. The whole thing was.
You mean Buddha judged anyone?
Yeah. The whole thing is that it just should have always been a choice. It should never have been person dated. It should never have been, anything like that. And that, that's just, it's a little irritating, but good news. Hopefully we have more of these on weeks to come.
Yep. All right. So our final story tonight.
Cool.
Aaron, you sent this to us earlier. And I want you to comment on this. I watched the video and it was absolutely hilarious. Just kind of what she went through. The Daily Mail picked it up, and
dude, it was a pretty big deal.
It was.
I was gonna say, you gonna play a clip?
Let me play a little clip, okay?
All
right, because it's pretty funny. So this comes from Sydney Watson. She's a YouTuber. Here's just a little clip.
As well, but I was squashed between these two people. No exaggeration. We actually hadn't been on the flight for too long when I turned to the guy to my right and I said, basically, would you be comfortable swapping seats? And he goes, no, that's okay. That's my sister, and we sit together all the time. Which, I feel like if you had any level of self-awareness or just decency in general, your response to that question would have been, yes, of course, let's swap, let's do that. Because it's better for you to be jammed up against, jammed into, squashed into your sister rather than a total stranger squashed into her. I feel like this is common courtesy, but maybe that's just me.
Okay. All right.
Nice
so,
clip.
Okay, so first of all,
that's my worst nightmare on a.
Oh wow!
So I just want to say that I'm not a tiny person. I'm not so big to where I don't fit in a normal size airplane seat.
Right.
But I'm not tiny like Sydney Watson is, I'm sure.
Yes, is.
Maybe my wife Ryan's pretty small, so he kind of knows Tony. Same with you. I mean, I've gone up and down in weight throughout the year, so who knows? Maybe I'll be back down there again. But the reality is what she went through. Okay, and here's the thing. It's not just the fact that she was very uncomfortable and it was a horrible flight for her, and we'll talk about that more, but the one thing I wanted to point out was what a safety concern that is, especially for Sydney sitting in between the two people, because if there's an emergency, she's not getting out of that situation in a quick manner. Like, it's not happening. And the whole fact,
she might be good on impact, though.
If I was, what'd you say?
I said she might be good on impact, though. But anyway, finish your point.
Kind of like at night at the Roxbury when they're at the club and they're like bouncing into each other. So anyway, this whole story is basically this. Sydney Watson was on a flight from New York to Dallas, I believe, and she was in the middle of the seat between two obese people. They were fat, obese people.
Right.
I can say fat and obese because there are times that I feel like I have been fat in my life, and I'm kind of on the verge now. But anyway, my point is if you're so large that you are spilling over into other seats. It's not only is it a safety hazard, but you should have to purchase a second seat. And I know there's a debate about it. And actually, there is a policy, and I should have pulled this up. She was flying on American Airlines. There is a policy that American Airlines has that says, yes, if you are that large, you are required to buy a second seat. And they didn't do that in this circumstance.
Well, and yet
that's why American looks so stupid in this.
Well, and yet American Airlines, she goes on later in the video to say that she received a response from American, and just some snide response that basically said, well, you could have sat somewhere else. You know, I mean, it was, and I can't remember what the exact response was, but yeah, that's their policy. When I worked for Southwest Airlines, that was their policy. And there was a time when I may have had to buy 2 seats myself in my life.
What? Yeah, Tony, you definitely needed 2 seats in that.
I can't believe you willingly showed that.
Oh, I just figured, why not? We were on the subject.
Tony, back in the pasta days.
That guy in a little coat. That guy in a little coat.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh God, that's good.
Oh, that was a long time ago. That was yeah, I had a little heavy spell myself, but yeah, when I worked for Southwest Airlines, that was part of the training. They were required, if they were going to be large, they'd have to buy 2 seats. And of course, if you didn't, the incentive was to buy the 2 seats when you were making the reservation, because typically you were making the reservation in advance. So the seat would be cheap, but people would try to get away with it. And, you know, this person comes to check in at the gate, and the gate agent's like, and they have to pay full fare. Oh, there you go. You got it. So they have to pay full fare for that seat, just like they would if they brought a, what is it? The huge, massive violin thing, a bass or whatever they called it. But anyway,
massive violin. Well, I'm guessing, did she say in the video, was the flight completely full?
Yeah, she said that.
Okay.
That the flight attendant was actually looking for a separate something, and the flight attendant. This is kind of funny. In Sydney's video, she says that the flight attendant's like, "Let me see if there's like a parent that would swap a child or something with you." And Sydney's like, "What parent would allow that to happen?"
I know. Yeah. Let me just send my kid to go sit. Because it would have to be a small child, right? Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
So well, anyway, I would think that the only size child that would fit between those two would probably be an infant, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Well, anyway, so I just jumped on this website called Portly Passengers, and I've actually never been on this website, but they had a good source of kind of going through and explaining
Portly
some things.
Passengers.
That if a customer needs extra space outside a single seat to travel safely, another seat is required. We encourage customers to address all seating needs when booking. Okay, so this is about American Airlines. Okay, when you call to book, reservations will make sure you get 2 adjacent seats at the same rate. If you didn't book an extra seat in advance, ask an airport agent to find out if 2 adjacent seats are available. Because it really wouldn't help in this matter if you bought one in 2C and in 4D. So they do need to be adjacent seats. You may be offered a seat in a higher class of service that may provide more space. In this case, you'll be responsible for the fare difference. If accommodations can't be made on your original flight, you can buy seats on a different flight at the same price as your original seats. American Airlines is one of my most favorite domestic airlines. I'm not sure if it's just nostalgia when I fly on them, or if it's just the fact I've always found the seats to be comfortable. But when it comes to their policy for plus-size travelers, I definitely think differently. In 2018, we launched airline policies for plus-size travelers. Since then, a lot has changed in the travel industry. With more information, blah, 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 blah. So I I don't know. I don't know, man. Look, people are heavy for different reasons, and it could be a medical thing. It could be a thing like me where I just eat too many damn carbohydrates. That's my problem, man. And that it's just like when you see somebody using the scooters in the grocery store. Like, are you using that scooter because you really have a medical condition, or it's because you won't walk around and do what you're supposed to do?
And now you have a medical condition.
And now you have. So, it's a tough subject, but I'm totally on Sydney Watson on this one. Yep. I'm on her side because it is true. If I've been on flights before when much larger people are sitting next to me, the type when they fold their arms and their arms are up here because they can't literally like drop their arms to their side.
Yeah.
And it is no pun intended. Well, pun intended. It's a sticky situation. I mean,
right?
Sweat. I don't know. Well, it's tough. And
you said earlier that it's a safety issue too. And think about it.
It's a huge safety issue.
It is, because especially if there's an aircraft emergency and it comes to egress, that's like the biggest problem. So I would think, and this shouldn't be a discriminatory measure, but for a safety measure, if you're an obese passenger like that, you should only be allowed to sit in a window seat.
Yeah, and so you should be required to buy
a second seat.
You should be required to buy a second seat. And American Airlines has that policy, and they didn't require this in this situation.
I mean, basic rule of thumb is if you need more than 2 seatbelt extensions, you probably need to buy an extra seat.
If you need to buy even one, the seatbelt goes out pretty far.
Yeah, it just seems like there could be some ways, like you could even like maybe not have them buy 2 seats, but maybe they buy a seat at a full fare and then book the other seat. Maybe they lower that price by half or something, to accommodate.
Yeah, but how is that fair? How is that fair for a normal sized person? Let's say they want to buy a seat because they don't want somebody to sit next to them. There's no way American is going to sell them that seat for half price.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, but see, that's what I'm saying though. Like they have to come up with a way. So, because you can't, if you're someone like this Sydney Watson, like you're not solving the problem. That's awful.
Well, she even addresses that in her in that video. It's like, why is it fair how is it fair for somebody like me to have to put up with something like that when I don't remember how she worked it.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at, and it's an analogy, just like, so we're patriotic Americans here, all three of us. It's just like the whole argument where the Pledge of Allegiance in our public schools these days. You've got one student or one family or one parent that complains,
right?
We shouldn't do that. So,
oh my God, we got to change it for everybody.
Exactly. So the majority of the people have to change what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it should work.
You're right.
And so all I'm saying is, and in all honesty, this policy, it doesn't even have to be an obese person. It could be, it could be somebody that hasn't showered in 2 months. You imagine a homeless person buying a ticket, or somebody that, and I don't know that person's circumstance, but you can't go on an airplane if you stink. Okay.
But the cabin filtration system will take care of it.
Yeah. My point is, you could have like extreme body odor. You could have, and you have shit that just, my God, there's lots of reasons for this, but I would say, and my advice to anybody, and especially to Sydney, is a circumstance like that happens again, just cry foul that it is a safety issue.
Yeah.
And start saying shit like that to an airline, a flight attendant, to a pilot.
Oh, they'll start listening.
they're going to listen, because if you're like, this is a safety issue and I'm not having it, then most of the time they will do something, because the last thing an airline wants is bad publicity because of safety.
So speaking of safety issue, I want to point this out. So the U.S. airlines base passenger weights on the FAA standard average weight table. Adult males in the summer, they weigh 190 pounds, but they're 195 pounds in the winter. Why are they heavier in the winter? Do you guys know why?
Thanksgiving.
I don't know, Tony. Show your picture again and tell us.
That just for the record, that awful picture was taken in the winter time. Oh my God, I was so.
Hey, you look like you weigh about 195.
This picture, by the way,
that's plus
195.
No,
that was at my
That's being
heaviest.
sarcastic.
That was at my heaviest. I was 260 at that point.
Nice.
But anyway, we'll get back to that. But
Tons of
so the
fun.
passenger weights. Come on, there we go. So Derek,
where are you going?
The reason why they're found heavier is because people are wearing more heavy, or they're wearing heavier clothing, or they're wearing more clothing in the wintertime because it's cold. Yeah. Adult females, their standard weight is 160 pounds in the summertime, 175 in the winter. Children, 82, 87. So the winter weight includes more clothing, heavier footwear, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So are you telling me that if she was sandwiched in between two obese people, that both of them should have had to buy a second seat? Do you think either one of those was in that one? Let's say it's winter time, just for shits and giggles, which I think it was. So do you think, how close do you think the guy was to 195, and how close do you think the female was to 175?
Yeah, well, based on some of the photos, I'm sure they were double, triple that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So double. How many people... But how many people on that flight were over that? So when I say it becomes a safety issue, I mean, it could, if you get enough people on the plane, it could be a weight and balance issue. And I'm not trying to be funny. You know, it's
no, I know.
Anyway, it's
man. It's you know, this country does need to do something about the weight issue, man, because it's not healthy, and it's. And I say that to myself when you know, I feel like, you know, I got to lose some of my weight. It's like, geez, man, I just, you know, I got to be healthier, because that's what it is. Well, I mean, you know, I want to be here for my kids. I want, you know, I want to live a good life with my wife. I mean, you know.
Well, you don't make money off someone who's healthy, but you make a lot of money off someone who's ill and obese and has problems.
True. And the airlines haven't caught on to that apparently yet, because they're forcing heavier people to pay more.
So anyway, well, and it makes sense to make them buy two seats, because if you're 350 pounds, you know, that's 175 pounds a seat. So it averages out. So anyway, that picture though that I showed you of me, I'm going to show this thing one more time. My God. That was taken at the ATC Command Center in Herndon, Virginia. That's where all those messages originate from.
So who's that with you in the photo?
Oh man, if one of my dispatcher friends is watching, I want them to comment, and let me know who that guy was. But he would always do the briefing, but he sounded like when he did the briefing, you know, because they go through, either on the conference call, and they go through all the issues of the day and any problems they're expecting or current issues. And, you know, they're very thorough, they're very precise. But when he went on there and talked, he sounded like a 70s porn star. And so his name was, I think his first name was Ricky. And, I wish I could remember last name. Super nice guy. But he was just like, basically it's like, yeah, we got delays in San Francisco, god damn it, so it was
That's nice.
but I got to take a picture with them. But I did a lot of jump seating back then. And
anyway, I just want to read this comment though from Matt the Man.
Matt the Man.
Now I'm guessing this is Wadman. I don't know what his handle is on YouTube, but since he says he's over 6 feet, which we know Wadman's well over 6,
he's a little tall.
Oh,
he says he was on E175 next to his 6 foot plus dude, and I'm over 6 feet. I mean, wow. I mean, I'm 6 foot. I'm the one on the left with the freaking.
Yep.
See how I've got a little bit of weight to take off, but I mean, Wadman, dude, what is he like? 6'5", 6'6"?
Oh yeah.
Because if I'm 6 foot, Tony, like you're almost 6 foot. Ryan's a little under 6, but like you can see how tall Wadman is.
What'd you say, Tony?
I said I'm like 5'11" and 3/4.
Nice.
Or 7/8 or something like that. But if you look at Wadman, he's like a full head taller than Ryan is.
I know.
Oh yeah.
He's a tall dude. But yeah, I'm sure that was pretty tight. But I was a heavy guy and I was in the jump seat a lot. So here I am. Little Hess says he's lucky enough to say he hasn't had an experience like that. Just keep flying and you will. It'll happen.
So Wadman is watching and it's not him.
It's not.
But so we got Matt the Man, who's about apparently as tall as Wadman is. So it's not, but flights are rough at 6'6". See, I told you Wadman was like 6'5".
Yeah, hopefully they never sit next to each other on a flight.
Yeah. So who's this Matt the Man then? Hey, it's good to hear. Thanks for sticking with us, by the way. We appreciate that.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know. Yeah. But he's over 6 feet, so you wouldn't want to meet him in the back alley in the dark.
Right. Exactly. Oh, I just lost one of my lights. Oh, well. I just want to show a couple quick pictures from the jump seat because I used to jump seat a lot. So if you're wondering what goes on inside the flight deck when they're like at flight level and we're just cruising. So they put up the shade, they put on the baseball cap. Let's see. Okay, hide. There we go. So I guess you can't run it like a slideshow, huh? Oh, there we go. So there's another one there, and then these were
before iPhone days.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you got the old digital camera right there. This I was jump seating on a Northwest A320 from Memphis to Vegas.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see the guy's got his leg up. You wouldn't be able to do that in a Boeing.
No,
Right?
Not at all. Not at all. And so here's a really cool picture that I came across. This was on that same flight.
Yeah. When the bridge was being built.
When they were building the bridge to bypass the Hoover Dam. Look how full the dam is, too.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, good times. Just wanted to show a couple of pictures.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do our little show and tell thing another time because we're already well over an hour into this thing.
Yep.
I think.
And as you guys can see, Aaron and Ryan, I uploaded a lot more pictures. We'll cover those on another podcast. But but wow, that was a fun episode, you guys.
Of course,
absolutely. We covered a lot.
Yeah. Hopefully YouTube doesn't hate us for talking about some of Anyway.
So I was just going to throw out there if anybody's watching wants to ask us any other questions or whatever as we kind of close the show out. Feel free to send it to us. Let's see. So Preppy 235 jump seat would be cool. Just to be there in the cockpit and see how everything works. Yeah, definitely.
It's a hell of an experience.
There's so much going on.
And I remember the first time that I did it, because as a flight dispatcher, you're required to get 5 hours of jump seating in every type of aircraft. And when they mean type, they mean jet versus like turboprop. So So I had to jump seat in the Brasilia when we were still flying in the EMB 120s, and then also any of the different regional jets. But I had to do 5 hours every year, and God, it was so cool flying into some of those airports. I'll have to tell you a story on another podcast about a near miss that we had over California. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, I've jump seated all the way into I think it was Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've been all over the country, and it's awesome. And as a dispatcher, you're also allowed up there if you're just trying to get from one place to another. So it's not just to be up there for the requirement. You also have that ability, and jump seating in the front of the aircraft saved my ass a few times for sure.
Yeah. All my jump seating experience was like corporate. Usually when I'd go up after they do maintenance on like a Gulfstream or something, and you got to know the mechanics well, and you get to go up with them. And yeah, I mean, you're right. Being in the jump seat is a cool experience, because especially if you're just there to watch, and you're not there to, you're not a part of it like a dispatcher or a pilot. When you're just a passenger, like when you jump seat, it's just really cool to watch like the pilots do their thing, and definitely having a front window is an awesome experience.
Yeah, I've gone up on a couple flights like Ryan had talked about. They were just, from knowing pilots and whatever. But the only like kind of jump seating that I've ever, it wasn't commercial. But it was in a B-25 Mitchell, a B-17 Super Fortress, and a KC-135.
Wow.
I've experienced being in the cockpit during operations for all three of those aircraft. So that was
nice.
Cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've got some great jump seat stories. I'll have to.
We'll have to do that. So I see another chat here popped up.
Yep. What are some of your favorite aviation jobs? Episode 2 of the RampCheck podcast, I think, is that
talks a lot about that. Well, off the top of my head, I can tell you de-icing is absolutely a blast. If you're working the ramp, de-icing's the way to go. You work in a cold environment, it's a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
Yeah, Ryan, what about you?
So yeah, I do think de-icing's probably at the top of the list, but something I always really loved to do was tow the aircraft. Like,
yeah, towing's cool.
I love stacking hangars, and I love like pulling a Global Express out of the hangar at sunrise, and you have the big nose just sitting right over you, and just
playing Tetris with airplanes.
Well, and there's just something about pulling an aircraft out on the taxiway and the wingspans like this. So I think towing the aircraft. So I guess that would fall under, he says, jobs, like that would fall under like line work. Like being a line guy was fun. If I could make $100,000 a year working the line, I'd still be there today.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Working the ramp is a lot of fun. It's a great place to go to, it's a lot of hard work. It's difficult at times because some of the people you have to work with. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think the industry would be a lot different if they paid ramp workers a lot more. Be honest.
I'd have to say my favorite is lav service. That is just the coolest shit. I'm totally kidding. I loved being a dispatcher. That just remember, if you're not careful about what you eat when you're a dispatcher, you're gonna look like you're gonna look like this. So just make sure you eat healthy, because you're sitting in front of a computer for roughly 10 hours a day, every day. And really, as a dispatcher, a flight controller where you're controlling different zones, you're like overseeing the region. You're not doing the actual flight release preparation. But it can be pretty slow, and you feel like that, one more click and you might find the end of the internet one day, or you're just running around with your hair on fire trying to put the system or the airline back together after like San Francisco goes down or Chicago or something like that. But I would say dispatcher, just because I got to jump seat and the opportunities I had to go to so many different places.
Yeah.
I miss working on the ramp though. I really do. Towing the airplane, stacking the hangars. You get there, it's been a long day, you've been running around like crazy, and then somebody wants a 152 pulled out of the hangar that's in the very back, and there's like 8 planes in front of it that you have to pull out.
Yeah, who's the idiot that put the 152 in the back? That's what I'd be asking. I want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say one that I haven't done, but since the question is, what are some of our favorite? Maybe one that I haven't done. Obviously, a pilot has to be at the top of the list, right? But since that's a more obvious one, I think it would be really cool to be a refueling boom operator, like on a KC-135 or something like that. Just seeing the aircraft in flight and operating the boom. So I think that's definitely one of my favorite jobs that I've never done.
If I could do it over in the Air Force, I would have done that, and I probably would have retired from the Air Force.
Yeah.
Because I went in at 18. No, 19. I went in at 19. I didn't get the diabetes until I was 45, so I could have stayed in the Air Force, and I could have been a boom operator for 20 plus years. So anyway,
cool.
That's a great question.
All right.
Good question.
Cool. Well, I guess I should probably wrap it up. Geez, we covered a lot of stuff tonight.
Yep. We did. We said we were only going to go for an hour tonight and an hour 22.
Yeah, it's all right. It happens.
Yep. It just happens. But don't forget, everybody, you can catch the RampCheck podcast every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We won't go into the debate about Central and Pacific and everything else. And if you missed the live version, of course, the recording will still be up there. You can catch us on Audible, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Pandora, anywhere you get your podcast if you want to get the audio version. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave a good review where you can, hit that notification bell, and last but not least, go to the Ramp Swag store and buy some Ramp Swag. Look at all that cool stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted to scroll through this again while we were kind of closing out, but check out the Ramp Swag store, hats, t-shirts, hoodies.
Yep.
Lots of different cool designs.
And don't forget, we will be at Red Flag. Do you want to say anything more about the Ramp Swag? Ramp Swag.
I was just showing off mine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I've got my AvGeek hat.
Yep.
I've got my red, white, and blue RampCheck swoosh hoodie on. And then I also have my
your thong.
Your RampCheck thong.
Thank you. Thank God.
Thank you. I don't have my RampCheck thong on there anymore. Let's see. We got one more chat here tonight from Lil Hess. Oh man, he just wants free stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Number one fan.
I can see his dad saying, just suck up to him and they'll send you some free shit. So anyway, hey, thanks for listening again to the RampCheck Swag. I was reading the little ticker down below when I said that, but I can't stress enough, share the show with everybody. We want to get up to well over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We've got over 30,000 followers on Instagram.
Well, that's the current goal. We want as many followers, but that's kind of our next goal. Yeah.
Right. We want to get up to at least 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So share this whenever you can. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell. And listen to us on audio as well. So I think, boy, that about does it for me. What about you guys? Anything else?
Yeah, that's it. Just go to the Ramp Swag store. We appreciate all the support that way. Please do follow us on all of our social media, including YouTube. We love the interaction, send messages. We appreciate you watching live tonight, those of you that did.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Like us, follow us, share us. And,
absolutely. We forgot Red Flag. Just really quick, 2 weeks from today, we will be down at Red Flag. So Red Flag 23-1, Nellis Air Force Base, Las Vegas, Nevada. Always a ton of Av Geeks. Always a ton of Av Geeks out there. This is one of my favorite pictures from Red Flag, just seeing everybody with their cameras. It kicks off on, hey,
23rd.
Hey, hi.
Yeah.
Deanna says hi.
Deanna, hey, babe.
Kicks off on Monday the 23rd. We will actually be here for 3 days, the 25th, 26th, 27th. So come and say hi to us. And
cool.
Okay.
We might interview you for the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So for me, Tony, thank you once again for listening to the RampCheck podcast. Appreciate you sticking with us for another hour and a half. And I can't stress enough, like, subscribe, and share. Aaron?
Yeah, that's it. I just got a text from a follower and a friend that likes to stay anonymous. He wants to know if we have any inside info on the next demo team pilot for the F-35. During media day this winter, she said she couldn't comment on it, and she is still flying the jet when there's practices going on, even just the other day. So no info, no inside info either. So the wait continues to see if Bayo is flying another year for the F-35 demo team.
All right. She's awesome. Ryan.
Yeah.
How about a send-off?
All right. Well, I started with the salute. I'll end. Good day.